Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine. Today we're going to do another great workout you can do in your home. Very minimal equipment. Today, in fact, we're going to use one tube and one set of dumbbells. If you have a ball, there's a chance you could also use the ball or seated on a chair or something. So that is it for today. Remember to come into these workouts warmed up and ready to move. 5 to 10 minutes of a cardio workout. Get that heart rate up, open up those blood vessels, get your muscles warmed up, and get your mind ready for some movement. Okay, we are going to start with a lat pull down today. So I'm going to start seated on the floor. Depending on where you can loop your bands around a higher surface, you could sit on a ball, you could do it on one knee, you could sit on the edge of a chair, depending on what you've got around your house. I don't have high ceilings, so looping it through a door and then sitting on the ground is what works for me. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall, shoulders down, away from my ears. Think about putting your shoulder blades in your back pocket. Sit up nice and tall, and then we're going to pull that tube straight to your armpits with those handles. If you don't have handles, you can use the band and just hang on to the edges. Nice and slowly. You control that band. Don't let that band control you. Squeezing your shoulder blades down and together as you pull. Now, make sure you're breathing throughout. 9 and 10. Now, make sure you're pulling down here from a high location. Don't find yourself leaning back and doing a row. So we're pulling down using those big muscles in your back, your lats right here. Okay, good. Make sure you stand up nice and slowly. Next, we're going to do some side lunges. So if you have never done these before, or you have a tough time sitting back, or you know that they're a little bit difficult for you, do this at a kitchen counter or somewhere where you have something sturdy in front of you to hang on to so that you can really sit back. You want to step out to the side and sit back in your heel. So your weight is in your heel here, your knee stays over your ankle, and then you come back up. I'm going to reset my thing here. And now we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to alternate sides. Step way out to the side, sit back. If you're hanging onto something, don't be afraid to sit back and really pull back on that, to lean back and get your weight back in that hip, back into your heel. We don't want you to lean over to the side and go forward over that knee. So when you go back, you don't want to be here. You're leaning back. So notice my knee is straight over my ankle. Use something sturdy so that you can perform this safely. Now, if you have any knee pain, limit your range of motion a little bit. You can step out to the side and just bend your knee just a little, but the same thing, you're sitting back, putting your weight in your heel. You should be able to lift your toe. Breathe, keep your chest up nice and tall. Let's do 2 more on each side. Sitting back, nice and far. Don't be afraid to use that sink or railing or something in order to sit back. It's okay. It's also good for balance as well. Okay, next we're going to grab a set of dumbbells and do an alternating shoulder press. I'm going to do mine seated on a ball. If you have any back pain, I recommend that you do this one seated, because when you start to press weight over your head, it can load your spine. So if you don't have back pain, you can do this standing. Maybe do it in a little bit of a balance challenge, maybe a tandem stance or staggered stance. Put those dumbbells right next to your shoulders, right here. You can do them either with your elbows out like this or in close. We're going to alternate. So if you are seated, make sure you're sitting nice and tall, tummy nice and tight. If you're standing, same rules apply. Shoulders down, tummy tight. Nice and slowly. 4. Now, if you've started and you feel like you've grabbed maybe a little bit too heavy weight, it is a little bit harder to do them alternating. So go ahead and grab a lighter set of dumbbells if you need to. Or if you've started standing and you find, oh, this doesn't feel very good on my back, sit down. Or if you're sitting and you want to try it standing, same goes. One more on each side. And rest. Good. The other thing is, if you're finding that getting all the way up here is too much, you can do a smaller range of motion. You could just go here. If you find that you're finding any elbow or shoulder pain, you can do a smaller range of motion and still get the same muscles, still get the same benefit. It just limits your range of motion so that you stay in a pain-free range of motion. Okay, next we're gonna do some side knee ups. So sometimes an easy way to do this is to grab a pillow or a balance disc or a balance pad, or you can just do it with no tools. I'm gonna have you reach off to the side. So my weight is in this foot right here. Now this foot is going to be moving. I'm going to take my arms and my knees and I'm going to drive them together like this. So I want this to be a forceful movement. So like if I were to have a pillow in my hand, like I'm going to hit it really hard with my knee. Kind of off to the diagonal here. This weight is staying in this supported leg. 9 and 10. Good. So you're working on some hip flexor, you're working on some glutes. Then this standing leg, you're working on some abs. All right, now we're going to change sides. So reach off to the other side, weight in this supporting leg. Boom. So we're working on power here. A forceful movement. Make sure you're breathing. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, good. Okay, now we're going to do a standing hip extension. So do this, you can either do it standing next to a wall or something sturdy here. What we're going to do is stand on one leg and move the other leg back. So we're extending your hip. This is a good hip stabilizer, glutes. So think about squeezing under your cheeks as you move that foot backwards. Now, everything else is staying stationary and stable. And notice that I'm not bringing my foot back very far. I don't want you bringing it way back here and tipping back. We're really isolating your glute here and not trying to pull in other muscle groups. So really, this is about all the further I can get if I'm staying true and staying stable. 9 and 10. Good. Now, you can use this as a balance exercise if you prefer, but I'd really rather, if you're struggling, balancing, I'd rather you hang on just a little to something so that we can really get that good glute work in. And you'll also notice that that standing leg is also working with all of those stabilizing muscles. 2 more. 9 and 10. Okay, good. Now we're going to lie down on the floor for the last one. We're going to do some core work on the floor. And we're going to do another oblique exercise. Starting here, I want you to cross one knee, and then this arm is out to the side. With my left knee is up, my right arm is behind my head. And I want you to come up to that opposite knee. 3, you can come up and put your weight on this stabilizing arm, or you can keep that arm completely out of it. That will be just a little bit more difficult, so you don't have that stabilizer. 7, bringing that opposite across. 8, 9, and 10. Good. So this hand is just resting back here. I don't want you yanking on your neck. Your neck should stay in a pretty neutral position. Again, you can have this, we're going to switch sides, have this arm out here for stabilizing, or you can just bring it in and make your tummy do all the work. Doing some obliques here. Your obliques are your side abs. So think about a rope pulling you across the room versus crunching really hard. Try to keep that neck happy. 2 more. And 10. All right, good. Okay, so go ahead and do those through 1 to 2 more times. Add some cardio in between. Keep that heart rate up. Make it a great full body, maybe full hour workout. Follow with a good cool down and stretches. Thank you, everybody. Have a great workout.